Are you ready, kids? Get your parents' permission, check your mailbox, and grab your shopping cart. It's time for the Adventures in Collecting podcast.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Dave. Welcome to Adventures in Collecting, where we talk toy news, culture, and hauls,
along with our journeys as collectors. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Adventures in Collecting. We're back.
We're back. It's Monday. Hi, everyone.
So Dave, I feel like it's kind of appropriate for us to say it's Monday, and you know what that means.
Yes.
Given our guest today. So as usual, Dave, with a guest on,
Eric, please do not bury the lead.
I'm not going to bury the lead, Dave. So Jazwares, right? They are very literally nearly everywhere in the toy world these days. With the likes of Halo, Fortnite, Pokemon, Roblox, and even UFC figures dominating the toy aisles. But with all of those IPs that we just mentioned, nothing is quite as hot as their current AEW unrivaled line of wrestling action figures. And joining us today is the man who has the task of turning your favorite AEW superstars into highly articulated, highly detailed toys. I, of course, am talking about Jazwares' lead designer, Magic Olmos. Magic, thank you so much for joining us on Adventures in Collecting.
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, we are excited as well to have you.
Very much so. Very much so.
So how's everything going? We were talking a little bit before we hit record here. So did you enjoy a nice little restful period here before you kind of kick it back into high gear?
Most definitely, yeah. With the Chinese New Year, things slowed down a little bit, so it's been a little easier these last 2 weeks. But yeah, it's been really stressful. Obviously, getting all this stuff done, but it's been really worth it and definitely rewarding in the long run.
Well, it's nice to hear that you got to come up for some air for a little bit. That's important.
Yeah, definitely. I've been catching up on some video games.
Ooh, what are you playing?
I've been replaying God of War 4 on a PS5.
Nice. It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah, it's mind blowing how much better it is.
Yeah, between the graphics bump and the frame rate, it's worth the upgrade for sure.
It's almost like my favorite game on PS5 just in general. It's pretty insane how good it is.
Yeah, I think that's probably. I keep hopping back and forth between finishing the Miles Morales game with my daughter. She likes watching all the Spider-Man stuff, and then when she goes to bed, I fire God of War back up and I play through it again.
I have not played the newest one yet, but I am a fan of the series.
Oh, that's excellent. You got to try it out.
So before we jump into your history with toys and of course, the AEW figures, we ask all of our guests, what are you currently collecting?
I'm currently collecting a lot of stuff. I'm pretty all over the map when it comes to collecting. I just usually, whatever I like, I'll try to pick it up, even if it's like random things. But lately, I've been kind of on a 6-scale kick, so I've been buying a bunch of random 6-scale figures. There was this anime that came out. I don't even know what it's called, but they had like a lizard face dude. It looked pretty cool. I just picked that dude up, and just like random IPs. This one's called Mind Game. I don't know what it's called. It's by Damn Toys. It's like this dude in a big puffer jacket. It's awesome. Just really detailed. So I kind of just pick up a lot of inspiration from all over the place and just look at that stuff I like and definitely try to incorporate it into like my work. Use it as inspiration.
That's interesting. So you, it's almost like it's the equivalent of somebody who is walking through like a liquor store and they buy a bottle of wine because the label looks cool.
Yeah, basically.
No, that's awesome because I mean that must create a really cool and very textured display with all of the different the different figures and like the different looks and everything.
Definitely, yeah. Like I'm looking at it now, like I'm kind of getting lost in it. Like it's like just a bunch of stuff. Like you said, texture is a good word. It's all over the map. But yeah, I try to just think about it as inspiration and try to just think about like what I like about certain things and why I like this versus that, or why something is more successful than something else. And just really just try to soak it all in and see what's out there.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a very cool, very eclectic collection of toys, which is really awesome. Magic, how did you find your way into the toy industry?
I actually had always wanted to be a toy designer since I was pretty young. I think when I was like 11 or 12, I like was playing with a Ninja Turtle and I realized like this is like some artwork, like someone sculpted this and someone created this, and that actually could be like a line of work to get into, and like it's part of like it's like a type of art doing this type of thing. And so I was really driven just by that thought, and I kind of focused all my efforts towards this path of toy design ever since like eighth grade, really. And then high school, I did a ton of art classes, sculpting. I made my own clays and ceramics and stuff, and lots of drawing. And then in college, I was really fortunate that LA has a college, Otis College of Art and Design, that actually has a toy design program, and it's really well connected and really probably the best thing you can do to get into the toy industry. So I focused all my efforts into getting into Otis and going through there, and then been working in the industry ever since.
That's awesome. What were some of the early things that you like when you first broke into the industry? What were some of the first things that you got an opportunity to work on?
When I was still in college, I interned at Jack's Pacific. So what did I work on? I worked on the Men in Black and Real Steel with
The Hugh Jackman, the Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie.
yeah, exactly. It kind of came and went. It's kind of sad it didn't really last too long. Same thing with Men in Black 3. Those things kind of just came and went. But I did that stuff and it was pretty like informative. But then I also got a chance to work on a girls team when I was there. So I ended up doing like wink stalls and different like glitter fairy stuff. That's pretty cool too, I guess.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's crazy to think about it like that because of course we'll get into the wrestling figures in a little bit, but I think having a background like that where you've had the opportunity to work on vastly different lines, it does inform future things. Like I'm sure like working on a line that was more so about like you said, like glitter and fairies and stuff, it teaches you, I'm sure, more of kind of like the delicate end of things and the more kind of like dainty aspects of toy making, like smaller joints and kind of that issue. And now you're working on wrestling figures that have these very small details, and I'm sure you're drawing on some of that for for some of those details.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with the soft goods. I think that was my first time actually getting to see how soft goods were manufactured at that point and like picking patterns and like those types of different things and textiles and all the stuff that's out there in that world that I've never had known before. So that was pretty cool too.
What was like a a surprise from maybe like working on an IP that you weren't expecting to be working on?
When I got out of college, I worked at Jack Pacific. I got hired after college and actually worked on Monsuno, which was a Jeremy Padawer creation. I met Jeremy for the first time then. I don't think he remembers me, but like I worked for him for about 3 months doing that on Monsuno, which was kind of a Pokemon-esque battle
Yeah.
game. If you guys
Yep.
remember that.
Yep.
Yeah. So then from there, I went to Whammo, which was a ton of like outdoor play stuff, like slip and slide, boogie boards, general sports equipment, and inflatables, pool toys, just really all over the map with that stuff. So that was kind of eye opening actually, because I got to do a lot of stuff I never thought I would be doing, which is pretty cool.
So going back to the idea of the textiles, and kind of the deco aspect of toy making. Each release in the Unrivaled line, the AEW Unrivaled line, which you're now creating for, which you're creating for now, represents a specific appearance that each wrestler has made. So, what goes into the decision to represent, one episode of Dynamite, that a wrestler appears in versus a pay per view show, and recreating some of those outfits that like the wrestlers themselves were responsible for creating? Do you work with them directly? Do you work with the people that made the costumes originally? Tell us a little bit about that kind of whole process of deciding what outfit the a given wrestler is going to wear.
Yes. So we work with AEW to get photo reference, and usually that's all the extent to what we'll get. We haven't worked with the costume creators yet, even though I think that would be tremendously helpful if we could, but I don't think we have access to them just yet. But what we try to do is just represent the look as accurately as possible. So the challenge would be, obviously it's a miniature, it's not a real size person, so there's a ton of details that we can include. There's a ton of details that we can't include just for costuming reasons, or even just because maybe like the sizing doesn't work or something. It's just really detail oriented. So I try to literally just make his things as accurate and authentic as possible, and try to bring all of the details we can into these things, and then cut out what we have to, but still try to maintain the original look of them and try to capture the spirit as best as possible. And I think actually we've been really successful so far in these first 5 waves of representing them really well and not cutting too much out, or if we have, doing it in ways that's not noticeable. And yeah, so far we haven't gotten in trouble for it. That's good.
Yeah, I mean the costuming has been outrageously good, and like, full disclosure, Dave typically handles the wrestling figure end of our podcast. I watch AEW, I watch WWE, but Dave is more so the collector of the wrestling figures. But today I was fortunate enough on my on one of my toy hunts, I found a full case of Wave 3. So I'm currently, it was like, as our friends at the Major Wrestling Figure podcast say, it was figure fate. The Target gods knew that we were interviewing you tonight, so they left me an Orange Cassidy. But going into what you just mentioned with the detail with the pockets, the fact that he can put his hands in his pockets, the T-shirt, the fact that like what you guys did so that you didn't have to make a full T-shirt, the Velcro, so that way he can have the T-shirt with the jacket or just the jacket.
Yeah, I was going to mention both of those things. Like, that's just sheer innovation right there.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm glad you guys dig it. That was always going to be a challenge, but like we knew he had to put his hands in his pockets. Like he had to do it. Like we had to figure out some way, hell or high water, that we made his hands go in his pockets, just because he's just so known for that. It'd be such a big missed opportunity if we didn't try. The jacket thing too was mostly because we didn't want the shirt to be super bulky, so we wanted it to be able to fit nice and tight on him, so it's not too like big and doesn't look too funky on him, because he's a kind of a small figure. So we did that, tried to think of ways to make everything work. For those pockets, my main concern really was that we wouldn't pass some sort of QA testing, because Jazwares has really high standards when it comes to quality assurance and the quality testing. So my big concern was like, oh, this isn't going to pass a pull test, or it's going to tear easily, or it's going to do something and then we're not going to be able to do it. So I was kind of really worried about that originally. But thankfully, it all passed and it all worked out. And then my original vision for it actually came to fruition. So that was really exciting to see. And then the fan response has been really awesome to see too. People really, really dig it, like appreciate that aspect of it. So it's been well worth all the effort put into it.
Oh yeah, the lazy thumbs up and the hands that go straight into the pockets. I mean, it's and going back to the idea of costuming, right? Like he's a figure where like once you nail it, like that's it, right? Like he doesn't have any alternate looks. He's just that's him, right?
And you could hit the alternate look because you don't have to put the T-shirt on him.
Yeah,
like the alternate look is he doesn't wear a T-shirt under the denim jacket.
Yeah, or you can take the sunglasses off. You have everything that you need for an art. Like it's like the ultimate Orange Cassidy figure. It really is. Like it has everything that you could possibly ask for. But going back to the idea of the costuming, right? Like stars like the Young Bucks. How did you decide, like, okay, this is the outfit that we're gonna do for the Wave 1 figures, and then this is the outfit we're gonna do for the Wave 3 figures, because they seemingly have a new costume or a new variation on their ring gear every episode of Dynamite.
Yeah, those guys change it up a lot. It's pretty cool to see. For Wave 1, it was actually pretty easy because that was the first event they did, Double or Nothing. So we were trying to capture all of those looks from like their very first appearance in AEW, the first event, Double or Nothing 2019. So that one was kind of easy, and those were pretty spectacular looks, to be honest. Those Elvis costumes are awesome.
Oh yeah,
the jumpsuits are great.
Yeah. So that jacket was, I love seeing that come to fruition in production, because that was a real challenge to make those jackets, just costing wise, pull test wise, safety wise, all that stuff. There's a lot going into those. I'm happy they actually came out pretty well. Even the printing on the back was hard to do and hard to get accomplished. But you fight a lot of battles and try to get things looking as good as possible. Sometimes you don't win, but then I felt like with Wave 1, we got a lot of wins in there, so it was pretty cool. For Wave 3, those outfits, I had seen them do a lot of publicity photos in those specific outfits. So I wanted to choose something that they would be well known for and like really recognizable as the Bucks in. So those ones we chose because not only are they kind of simple, so they're a little bit easier to make and not so much detail. So we're not gonna like have to cheap out on them or cut a bunch of details out to not do properly. I thought they were like really iconic to the Young Bucks, as well as being a really cool look, just gold and blue. Like it can't really go wrong with those colors, I thought.
Yeah, and having now seen them in person the first time today, they really do pop. It was one of those things where I was like, I promised myself I was just gonna get an Orange Cassidy for the photo promotions. I can't buy this whole case. I can't do it. Dave already has the figures. If I gotta borrow them for photos, I'll just bug him. But I need an Orange Cassidy. I needed him.
Something about seeing him in person, like I even when I see him in stores, I feel like I need to buy them. Like, oh, I can't just leave them here. They're hard to find. I need them for myself. But then I think like I have so many of these, like I have to leave them for someone else. But I don't know.
The collector community, no, the collector community appreciates it. One, and two, I mean that feeling has to be surreal. Like I can't imagine. I mean, we've talked to other designers, and I ask them all the same question. It's like what does it really feel like to be walking in Target? You walk into Target for for ice cream or milk or toilet paper or whatever, and you're like, let me just poke in the toy aisle and look at the stuff that I made.
Yeah, I mean it's different for me because I definitely go to Target just for the toys. Like ice cream and toilet paper will come secondary, but like it's definitely straight to the toys and like, okay, what do they got here?
One of us.
Yeah, I did it today.
I'm really lucky. There's a Target literally around the corner from me. They just built it like a year ago, so it's pretty awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was actually cool walking in there, seeing the figures in the local Target because I was thinking like, man, these things were made like around the corner from here. Like I don't know if anyone would think of that. Like that. Oh, these were all designed 5 minutes from here. But yeah, the first time I did see him, I did buy two. I felt bad. I bought a Phoenix and MJF because they were the only ones left, and I was like, I need to buy these. Just have the experience of buying my own figures and something I was so like intimate with, and like starting the line and kind of being so crucial to these developments. Like these are kind of my babies more than anything else I've ever done. So I had to have that experience purchasing them. So I'm sorry, fellow collectors. Two figures you're missing out on because of me.
You earned it. Magic.
Yeah, that's cool though. That's cool though. So which wrestler has been the most hands-on so far?
There's been a lot. So last year at Toy Fair, we had all those wrestlers come by. They've been really hands-on liking their stuff. Kenny Omega, Adam Page, and the Young Bucks. But I would say to me directly, it's probably Santana. He actually followed me and like messaged me and stuff and said how much he liked the figures, which has been really cool. He's just an awesome guy. So I'm glad his figure came out so well. He's definitely deserving of it.
It's easily the Santana and Ortiz are my favorite of the Series 4 ones. Like 100% definitely on the early could make the top 10 of the year list. Like for me, those are just hands down amazing figures. But not to mention just seeing some of the stuff too that Santana's put on Instagram with showing the toys to his daughter and just his being a collector for his life too, and just being able to kind of see his own figure is amazing.
Yeah, that's what's really special for me too. Just seeing these guys that are avid collectors and who have been working in this industry for a long time, like they're finally getting their like all their dues paid and they're coming up and they're getting all the exposure they deserve, and they're finally getting their figures. And yeah, seeing that's been really really special, especially from Santana.
And the other cool thing too is, especially with the AEW roster, seeing a lot of just being from like the New York, New Jersey area, seeing a lot of the AEW roster from back when they were just coming up in like their indie days is amazing. To now see them be in a figure form is awesome too.
Yeah, that's cool. There's definitely a lot of East Coast guys in the AEW, aren't there?
Yeah.
Got MJF, Silver, all them.
Eddie Kingston.
Kingston.
Eddie Kingston,
That's awesome.
Alex Reynolds, yeah, Santana, Ortiz. So many. Joey Janela.
Mm.
So what goes into the selection process for each series?
So there's typically lots of like rounds of it. Like we'll choose what we like for a wave, then we'll go back to AEW. They'll either prove it or say what takes people out or offer suggestions of who should go in there, and we'll go back and forth. Because there's kind of just a lot of stuff that goes into decision making, really. Not only just costing, but like what we have existing, what's new, how to weigh out like all the different aspects of it. So we try to weigh everything as evenly as possible and like try to make really exciting waves that make sense from a storytelling perspective. So you have tag teams that are grouped together, you have rivalries that are grouped together, you have people that like kind of work within a wave. Like when you see them all together, like it makes sense in a way. It's not just necessarily all just random guys. So it's a long, complicated process.
Has there been and I mean, granted, we're only 5 series into the, and a couple of, special box sets, right? Has there really been instances where you guys have presented a wave of figures and AEW has been like, well, actually, could you do this guy instead of this guy? Like they really are that hands on to like the character selection.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's been a couple. There's been probably every wave. There's people that AEW suggests instead of, or maybe the timing's not right on them. So yeah, it's a collaborative process for sure.
That's awesome to hear, actually, because like, it's been a long time since we've had another major wrestling company produce action figures, right? And another company that has really kind of, you know risen high enough to compete with somebody like, like the WWE. And the fact that like they, Tony Khan and, the rest of the people in charge at AEW, the fact that they are being this hands-on with their toys, like it really kind of gives you those old, warm and fuzzies from, the rivalries of the 90s. It's fantastic. And frankly, I love to hear stuff like that. That makes me very happy.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really enjoy working with AEW. They've been nothing but like great to all of us, like from the top down, like being there for our events, giving us support, recording stuff for our reveals. Like they've been really, really great.
Yeah, that last set of reveals was
The last
awesome.
reveal was really cool.
Yeah, right. I wasn't expecting that. I was surprised by it too. It was pretty cool to see.
And I loved that the first one that Jeremy shared was Hikaru Shida. That was like I'm like double fist pumped in the air when I saw that. I was like, yeah. So you guys have produced a lot of figures so far. A lot of different superstars. If you had to pick one, who's the favorite one that or your favorite design so far?
I would have said Pentagon maybe like a month or two ago because I just love Pentagon. Like I've been watching him for years now, seeing him at Indies and seeing him like up close wrestle and getting to see him on TV is really, really special. And making his figures been awesome. But I'm probably leaning more towards Santana right now, mostly because I feel like his like outfit's not super crazy. Like he's more of a straightforward wrestler versus like Darby Allin or Pentagon, who like look cool, like look really cool on their own. So it's kind of hard to like mess those guys up, you know. But like Santana and Ortiz, like they're normal guys. Like getting them to look as good as they did, I'm kind of really stoked about that, and like really proud of those two in particular.
I was hoping that was going to be your answer, only because, and kudos to you, really, seriously, because there are so many toyetic personalities on AEW. One of the ones that you guys just announced for Series 5, I believe, Luchasaurus.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we haven't seen the final product yet, just the renders, but like you want to talk about a toyetic guy. I mean, like
Yeah.
you don't get more you don't get really more toyetic than a guy that's, a lucha dinosaur. I mean, it's fantastic. I can't wait to see the final image of that. But taking a to your point, like somebody who's more of just kind of an old school, normal guy wrestler and making an incredible toy out of that is a feat. Like that's a feat, and you really did accomplish that. I mean, both of those proud and powerful. They're fantastic. Both Santana and Ortiz. So yeah, kudos to you, man.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you feel that way. Yeah.
Like down to the sneakers that Ortiz wears. Like it's the amount of detail is unreal.
Yeah, I love those foot shoe things. Those are
Yep.
dope.
I'm sure they were very tedious to design too, right? It's
Yeah.
like, God damn it, I gotta give him toes. Like,
When I saw that, I was like, he really wears these wrestling? Like, I didn't even notice. That's pretty cool.
and of course we can't talk about them without talking about the single greatest accessory that any wrestler has ever come with.
The chancla?
Yep.
Yeah, I knew as soon as they pulled that out of that, like, that birthday bag thing for Jericho, I was like, oh, that's gonna be in the figure.
Oh, so good. I nearly peed myself when when it came, when the impact shots came out that day, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that was immediately what I thought of, was like back to the Jericho birthday bag. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm growing up Hispanic. I've definitely been at the wrath of the end of one of those chanclas. So I feel the fear of seeing it. So I knew, like, yeah, we have to do that. That's the most powerful weapon of all in history.
So going from your favorite design to one you're looking forward to, is there a member of the AEW roster that has not been announced yet that you are just looking forward to, taking on somebody that you'd really love to work with and work on a figure for?
Uh, Definitely Brian Cage. He's gonna be awesome. He's got to be in there soon. I can't say anything more, but whenever we get to do Brian Cage, I'm really looking forward to doing him. He's just an action figure. Just looking at him, he looks like
Yeah, he is
He-Man.
a human. He is a human action figure.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, he is a living He-Man figure. Thinking about it.
like I'm thinking, like people should just do customs and pop a custom head on a He-Man like torso. It might actually work.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with like the Wolverine sideburns and everything. Like he's yeah. We've seen many clips of the AEW wrestlers reacting to seeing their figures for the first time. Um, we actually got to see one at Toy Fair when we saw Dustin Rhodes see his figure. Which reaction stood out to you?
You know, MJF was pretty surprising. Like he was really gracious about it and really like loved his figure more than I thought he would. I was thinking he was gonna not be very nice about it, but he was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully he doesn't hear this, because if he hears that you called him gracious about
Yeah, I might
anything,
have to cut
he's
that.
probably not going to be very happy with
I'm
you.
gonna get in trouble.
So we'll leave it in, but we'll also send you our information for the witness protection program, because or you could just talk to Jeremy, because Jeremy got out of hot water with him with the with the whole Chase situation. So you just have to you'll have to shoot him an email and figure out how to
Definitely.
stay out of MJF's path.
Man, we were in Chicago after, like, I think last year for Revolution. Like, they were doing a signing, and then he signed some kid's forehead, like MJF, like or autographed it. And like, I asked the kid, like, did you want that? He's like, no, he just did it. I don't know why that made me laugh so hard.
He is next level. Like, I, I, yeah. I mean, he talk about living, sleeping, breathing, eating what he loves. I mean, he's MJF.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
heel to the core.
Do you see fan input ever becoming involved in helping design a wrestler for either Unrivaled or Unmatched?
Oh, definitely. We've always been listening to the fans and definitely taking all the input in and like trying to fix things as we go along. Like yeah, Jeremy especially is really on top of like listening to people, like trying to get things improved just based on feedback.
Yeah, and we've seen that from skin tone to faces to accessories
Hmm.
to everything. Like, the line has so quickly evolved from series 1 to where we are now. And that's one of the things I think, and Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, having somebody like Jeremy, um who has such a long history with wrestling figures, right? I mean, he's often referred to as the godfather of wrestling figures, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, having somebody like him with his experience, I think it must be comforting to know that that he's got your back, right? Like that he's gonna listen and he's going to help you get what you need to produce the best possible product.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Like you nailed it on the head. Like it's really, really comforting knowing because he knows exactly what these figures need to be, and like the expectation levels from consumers and fans of what they want, like what's expected by now. Because wrestling figures, in particular, have evolved so drastically over the years. Like now they're like you have to do top notch or not even competing anymore. But another person too, like doesn't get enough recognition. I think is Greg Mitchell. Like he works like overtime and he really is like the biggest spokesperson for this brand and really pushing to make it as best as possible. So I'm really thankful to work with him too.
Yeah, and you guys are all it's fantastic. And I mean, we are fortunate enough to, be sitting here having this conversation with you, and we've spoken to Greg, we've spoken to Jeremy here on this podcast. But I we watch you guys interact with the wrestling toy photographers. We watch you interact with just kind of the fans who have questions, the collectors. You guys are so transparent and approachable. It's almost like at first it's almost like, is this truly sincere? Like, I can't believe that these are at real life, creative people in the positions that they are, answering the really getting into the weeds of the whole thing. And I think that's part of the reason why you can't find these things anywhere, because people know the amount of work. And like, if you're somebody who started collecting wrestling, these wrestling figures in Wave 1, right? And you were vocal about feedback, you could almost go as far as to say, like, you know, part of your feedback is the reason why Wave 4 and Wave 3 are the way that they are, because, you guys listen. And I think more people need to understand that, and need to kind of hear that you guys really are paying attention, and that you guys are listening, and and things are very obviously improving. You're taking a great thing that was great to begin with, and you're constantly making it better, and it's awesome to watch the process happen.
Yeah, definitely. Like I think that's what's cool is that Jeremy did encourage us to be like open with people and to interact with people online and be spokespersons for the brand because we do love this stuff. Like I eat, sleep, and whatever AEW is like my life basically right now. Just especially being in lockdown, like I'm surrounded by the figures. That's kind of all I do all day. So when I hear other people as passionate about them, or people like as invested into getting them and making them even better, like we definitely got to listen. I enjoy the interactions for sure.
And the other thing that's cool about it is, you're seeing like not only is the line evolving, but you're also seeing the wrestlers themselves evolve because AEW is only, you know, s- a new company, and these figures, this is a new line. So you're seeing like, okay, we've seen now Cody with the ringside one that's coming now. He has his neck tattoo and the original TNT title coming from the original Double or Nothing Cody. Like Chris Jericho has changed his look, and now we're getting a new Chris Jericho. So like the line is evolving with the company, which is great to see.
Yeah, definitely, and we definitely need them to keep evolving too because we're gonna get stuck pretty soon making the same figure over and over if they don't. So I'm happy. Like Cody changes his look like almost every week. It feels like, and like Jericho too.
Yeah, like Jericho now he's got the scarf and the bat, and like
Yeah,
there's always something new.
yeah,
So,
that's really good for us because we could keep making more and like do more exciting stuff and then recreate these like looks that are really iconic from all the upcoming future iconic moments that happen. It's been really fun.
I
Yeah.
I still am hoping that you guys put out that joke wave of just all Codys.
I wouldn't mind it. I like Cody. He's a cool guy.
Before we get into kind of some of the future stuff for AEW, I feel like if we fail to mention the UFC figures, we're missing an opportunity here, because those are incredibly awesome too, and you guys just announced the wave one of the new UFC figures that are the different scale now. So tell us a little bit about about that. Like, how did we go from that one specialized smaller scale UFC figures to what we can see now in the future?
Yeah, so like I think last year Jazwares gave me like a pretty good opportunity to take over UFC as well as doing AEW. So what I wanted to do like immediately was just make them all in the same world and keep what we are going with AEW, do that with UFC and keep them in that same scale and try to give them the same articulation just to keep them playable with each other. So you could set up dream matches between wrestlers and UFC fighters. And with those guys, like it's pretty much the same approach as with the AEW guys. We just want to recreate like moments. So if you look at the UFC Wave Ones, they're all from specific dates and they're all from specific times. Like for instance, Conor McGregor is from when he won his double belts or the two belts and became the first double champion in UFC, or one of the first. I'm not sure if he was the first. So we gave him two belts. We gave him that attire from that night. We gave him hair. Everything is look from that specific night. So we can recreate that specific moment, and yeah, just create different play patterns and create different worlds of UFC and like celebrate these times and celebrate like these moments in history.
Yeah, I love that you guys moved them to the same scale as the as what you're doing for the AEW figures, because of course too, and we talk about this all the time with the Fortnite figures, is like it's so cool that you have figures that are the same scale with stuff that other companies are doing. So like, wrestling, Fortnite, they're great examples where you can really kind of have the matches of your dreams, and we've all been doing that, as when we were kids, whether it was with Hasbro's WWF guys at the time and the WCW Galoob figures, or the Toy Biz WCW figures and the Jax Bone Crunchers and then Titantron figures, right? Like we were always taking all of the figures and kind of mashing them together in the ring, and now you can do the same thing but with UFC, WWE's entire catalog, AEW wrestlers, like everybody scales together so nicely, and it's just like I love it. It's like an unspoken handshake.
Yeah, that's a good way to think of it. I like that unspoken handshake. It's fun too because like Fortnite, they're like every license is in Fortnite now. So like Star Wars, Mandalorian, all those guys are like they're in Fortnite. So if you have Fortnite figures and you have these other figures, they kind of just work together, and it's pretty fun to play with them.
Yeah, I've been losing my mind the past few weeks with the Fortnite stuff, because it's like they announced like Ripley and the Xenomorph from Alien.
Oh,
So like
nice.
I immediately like ripped out, like I was like, all right, well I can take the 6-inch Master Chief figure from Jazwares, and I can take my Jazwares Fortnite figures, and then my NECA Alien, and Marvel Legends Captain America, and like here we go, like everybody get in the light box. We're gonna have some fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Now, just thinking of UFC real quick. And you were saying like different moments in UFC history. Is there anything, any idea or any plans of going like kind of back towards, older UFCs, almost more like legendary stuff?
Absolutely, like that's definitely key to get there. A bunch of legends. There's so much like a rich history of UFC to pull from. We definitely want to go back and do as much as we can that way. But also, we want to celebrate the new guys, the up and comers, and people that are currently like on the roster. So it's like a trying to strike a balance between them for sure.
What Dave is trying to tell you is he really just wants like a
Frank Mir.
like a Gracie figure.
Oh, nice.
Right? Or Chuck Liddell.
Yeah, it'd be fun to do Gracie with a gi. That'd be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I mean, if you could do a denim jacket, you could definitely do a gi.
Frank Mir would be cool though too.
Yeah.
It's like a beat up Brock Lesnar. Yeah, sweet.
Speaking of legends, something that also comes up quite frequently, and again, not to keep bringing up Jeremy, but something that he's kind of mentioned on Twitter a few times, mentioned on Instagram,
And that he's outright famous for.
the legends lines, right? So like the wrestlers that are not currently, basically the ones that are not contracted by WWE, right? If like, do you see the possibility of even kind of re-exploring that legends line that he was so famous for, the superstars line?
Absolutely. I think Jeremy's gone on record saying we're going to do legends. Celebrating the like history of wrestling is definitely what we're trying to do. There's still like so much out there that never got figures or haven't got modern figures. That'd just be really fun to do for sure.
We're super excited for it. I mean, that line was absolutely iconic, and to see the quality that you guys are putting into the AEW figures, into some of these, really kind of like forgotten, superstars, and get them into hands of like the next generation and new generation of collectors, and hell, us. It's an exciting prospect.
Well, that and it advances, history. It's basically giving a history lesson to everyone. Hey, this person was somebody of note. Now do some research and watch some old stuff.
Hmm. Definitely, like more access to it now than ever too, with YouTube and whatever else you can
Yep.
find online.
Yeah, I just watched for the first time. Dave, I'm gonna screw it up. Onita and Terry Funk,
Yep, you're right.
right? I got it. Onita and Terry Funk's uh exploding barbed wire match. I watched that for the first time last night,
Nice.
and it was amazing.
Yeah, I wanted to go. Been meaning to go back and watch the Terry Funk Mankind or Mick Foley barbed wire match.
Ooh, I don't.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I got to go back to that one too. Um, so talking about things in the future, we've seen the Unrivaled, five series of the Unrivaled line, and you guys have talked about the Unmatched line. What can you tell us about the AEW Unmatched figures?
So yeah, so this is where we're actually going to start to see some legends pop in, and some people, old timers. I don't know what a better word to say them, pop in that you wouldn't necessarily get in the Unrivaled line. You're going to get more different stuff. Uh, can't really give too much away, but there's a lot of surprises in Unmatched, which is are going to be really fun for people. And I think collectors are going to really dig them.
Awesome. We love surprises, and just you telling us that there are surprises coming is more than enough news to keep us happy.
Well, I hope they're surprises. Jeremy said a bunch of stuff on Twitter, but I'm not following him super close, so maybe he already revealed it. I don't know.
There, we are on him like hawks. There has been no name droppage yet as of
Yeah,
yet. So
good.
So here's a good question: are we going to see the tag team titles come to the line in the near future? I know that the first tag team champions SCU were announced for Wave 5.
Well, I can't confirm or deny anything, but I'll just say that we'll definitely see the tag team titles eventually in the line, 100%.
yeah, it's the only one we're missing now, right? Because we have the women's title, we have the TNT title, we have the championship title. We need those tag titles.
Yeah, definitely.
So this is the short portion of our show before we really kind of wrap it up and let you go. Where we posted a story on our Instagram. Thank you, by the way, for sharing it on yours as well. And we got a series of questions, and we also got a series of suggestions. So what I'll do is, we'll break this up. Dave is going to ask you the first question from one of our followers, and then in the middle, before we do the last question, from our followers, I'm just gonna hit you with just the suggestions of a bunch of our followers that just wanted you to hear their opinion. And they will not be in the form of a question. You don't have to answer anything, just so that people know that they were heard.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, perfect.
All right, Dave. Let's hit magic with the first question from our followers.
All right. I'm just gonna spell this handle.
I think it's Atalytics. Atalytics.
What's your earliest influence in action figure or toy design?
Um, Easily, Ninja Turtles. Like growing up, I loved Ninja Turtles. Like I still do. They influenced my life like hugely. I don't know why, but like I was obsessed with them growing up. I was obsessed with them when I was a teenager. When they brought them back, like in 2000 or 2004, and that line actually really kind of inspired me. That's the one I was talking about earlier, where I saw a figure and it kind of clicked in my head, like, oh, someone made this, and I could do this for a living. So that 2004 TMNT line really kind of inspired me to go for it, and I collected a ton of them. Yeah, and then seeing now the stuff NECA's putting out, which is just like 1,000 times better than any Ninja Turtle toy previously. It's just been insane just to see the level of detail we're at now, like how much things have evolved from the 80s till now.
Yeah, people have heard me make this claim, and I swear, to this day I still swear it's true, that I love the Ninja Turtles. Like I played with Dave's Turtles once I was older, because like those first Turtles were dated the year I was born. So I always made the joke, because like for me the Ninja Turtles were the two movies. Like by the time Turtles and then Secret of the Ooze came out, like that was like perfect time for me. So Ninja Turtles like film, Jim Henson Turtles, right? I always make the joke that the NECA stuff is so beautiful, I can't fall down that rabbit hole. But if they ever make Kevin Nash Super Shredder, or if they make the absolutely insane coming out of their shells tour Turtles, I'm in. I will buy those Turtles, I will buy that Shredder, and then I'll hunt down a movie Splinter, and I'm good. And NECA asked me to put my money where my mouth was last year, and I got them. And they are no joke. Like immediately, like so Star Wars is really my big thing in terms of collecting. I completely demolished one of my display cubes that was previously all Star Wars just so that I could have those turtles on display permanently. Like they're never going to go anywhere. That's it. Like they are perfect action figures. They're absolutely insanely crazy. I love them. And to your point, yes, like it is absolutely incredible. I actually just found my original Super Shredder this past weekend from Playmates Toys from like 1992 or whatever. And I took a picture of it next to like the new Super Shredder, and it's amazing how far we've come.
Yeah. It's kind of like weird. It's kind of like video games in a way. It's like in the 90s, like the video games we were playing, like Mario looked awesome. And then you go back and it's like, wow, just pixels and stuff. It's kind of like the same for toys, seeing them. It's like where they were incredible in the time, and then now it's like just been super HD'd and brought to life. Like it's like such an insane fashion now. It's really cool.
Speaking of video games, you see that Turtles video game that was announced today, the Shredder's Revenge one?
I did not. I heard the name. I thought it was a cartoon though. I didn't see more about it. That sounds awesome.
I'll share a link with you, but it's like an old school like Turtles in Time beat 'em up that's in the style of the animated series.
Awesome. That's incredible.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
All I could think about when we were talking about the coming out of their shells turtles is just going to Pizza Hut.
Pizza Power.
It takes me back.
What I think it's Pizza Power Flying Saucer something delight. Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
I don't remember.
I recently rewatched it with Maddie, Dave, and she loved the entire concert.
I'm sure.
When I think of those, I always think of those like hardcore edits they made from the Turtles and the Fox show thing, where it's like a hardcore band and they just like edit together.
Amazing.
I don't know why. I love those.
Yeah. All right, so I don't know what we'll call this, but like here's a bunch of suggestions. All right, so I have these in order of the amount that they were suggested. Because these are, believe it or not, every single one of these that you are about to hear are all repeats. So like there is nothing you're about to hear that was like just requested by one person.
Okay, let's hear 'em.
All right. Lots of requests for the figures to be in Malaysia.
To be in Malaysia?
Yeah, the AEW figures to be sold somewhere in Malaysia.
Interesting.
Apparently, they still have Toys R Us there. So
that's awesome.
So
Lucky.
Malaysia. Second, yeah, that was the most suggested one, Malaysia. Second most suggested one is people would really like a scale octagon for the UFC figures.
Absolutely, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think that would be great too. At Toy Fair, we saw the figures in last year. We saw the figures in an octagon, but that was the original figures, the smaller scale figures, and the octagon was probably just part of the display. But they would look awesome with an octagon. The third most requested one, the Young Bucks in their Street Fighter outfit.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
That's a good one.
And then,
I mean, you would need the Kenny to go with it, though.
Yeah, because if you don't, he was dressed up as Ken, right? Or Ryu?
He was Akuma.
Akuma, right? They were Ken and Ryu, and he was Akuma.
They were Ken and Ryu, and he was Akuma.
Yeah, he actually wore the same thing that he wore in the Wave 1 version. He just had different hair. It was like kind of dyed red a little bit and tied up, and he had the symbol painted on his back. It's pretty cool looking.
It is. Those were really cool outfits. And then the last one is so we talked about Legends. So I'm actually gonna. Let's see. Yeah, we talked about Legends already. So this is part Legends, but the other one is we had 3 different people ask, "Will there be Legends?" And all 3 of them want the Steiner brothers.
Nice.
So some big Papa Pump love.
Yeah, the numbers don't lie.
So there you go. So the I'm gonna let Dave do the last question here from our followers.
Okay, and this is a mashup of just a bunch of different questions. So, are you considering more playset-like items outside of rings?
Absolutely. There's definitely a whole world we can build. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, there you go. I know.
That's not necessarily to say anything's necessarily coming, but
Yeah.
definitely considered.
Considered. That's why we worded it that way. Considering.
Yep.
we don't want to lock you into something that you don't want to lock yourself into. So you are considering it. Cool. All right. Well, Magic. Dave also, outside of being co-host of this podcast, serves as our James Lipton. So, Mr. Lipton, would you like to take the final question?
Yes. Last question of the evening. What is your favorite and or strangest piece in your collection?
Favorite and or strangest?
Doesn't have to be one thing. Could be 2 things, but
Could be both.
could be
Either
both.
one.
Last guest had an answer for both, and it almost put us on the ground. We were laughing so hard. So I mean, it's.
Oh,
But no pressure. I'm just saying that was just an instance where somebody had a very, very strange Aunt May figure that just so happened to check literally every box that's ever been. Oh wait, before you tell your answer, I need to say this. So I found out real quick. Magic. We had Brock McLaughlin on from Spin Master Toys, and he told us about this Toy Biz Aunt May figure that he had. And I looked into it. Not only did I find that it made one of Toy Galaxy's most WTF figures ever made, it was on one of his lists. But so Jesse Falcon, who works at Marvel and worked with Toy Biz and made a lot of those Toy Biz figures, apparently to this day that figure haunts his dreams. To the point where he has not approved an Aunt May figure in that style for Marvel Legends because of how poorly that one came out. So like, not only does Brock have like a really creepy figure in his collection, he has one that like potentially has ruined all future attempts at an Aunt May figure from anybody connected to Marvel as long as Jesse still lives and breathes. So there you go.
It's that whole line is a lot. That's the best way I can describe it.
I'm not gonna pepper you with pictures now, Magic, but I'll send you some pictures of this toy and some of the other ones that were in this line, and it will make you feel a lot better about what you do as as a creative person.
That's awesome. They definitely send those. I want to see it.
All right, so now that I've distracted you from thinking about your answer.
You've distracted me from sleeping. Come on.
I think my strangest figure, it's not that good compared to that Aunt May figure, so be disappointed now. But I have an Enzo Amore talking smack figure, I think, whatever it's called, from WWE, from when I worked there. But it has a sound chip of John Cena in it. So when you push it, it just says, like, "You can't see me." But I don't know, just coming out of Enzo's face, like, it just something pretty weird about that.
No, that's really good.
That's good.
Oh man! And I'm assuming that was like that was just a packaging mistake, right? Like the wrong chip ended up in the wrong figure.
I think it was just like an earlier like FEP model or sample, and like they just put the wrong one in there. But yeah, it's like I loved it. I mean, I still love Enzo. I think he's great. I know he gets so much hate and people do not like him and his character, but I thought he was awesome and like really hilarious and really good at what he did. So I would get all the Enzo merch from WWE. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Magic, listen, thank you so much for taking the time out to be with us tonight and be on Adventures in Collecting. Before we let you go, is there anything you'd like to plug? And please let everybody know where they can find you online.
Online, I'm always just Magic Olmos. It's usually my handle for a lot of stuff. So Instagram, Facebook, whatever you can find. I'm not really on Facebook, but Instagram is a place to contact me if you guys want to come suggest more figures, more messages. But yeah, and there's AEW Unrivaled in the UFC and Unmatched coming up too. Just that's the only thing I got going. I love those. It's on my heart and soul right now. So I'm really appreciative of all the support you guys have been giving us and the positive feedback. So thank you guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, dear listener, for hanging out with us today. Subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen, and then tell your friends to do it. Thanks also to Joe Azari, the golden voice behind our intro. Our music is Game Boy Horror by the Zombie Dandies. Find more about them both in our show notes.
Follow us on social media at AIC_podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Stop by and say hi, show us your toy hauls, and share your toy stories. Maybe we'll talk about it in a future episode.
Don't try this at home. Void where prohibited and some assembly required. Each sold separately, not a flying toy. Consult a physician if your toy run exceeds more than 4 hours.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.